What's up, everybody? Welcome back to the shop for another episode of Thingamajigger Thursday. I'm going to do today just a little bit different. I'm trying to clean up the shop, and I've had these acro bins full of random tools. A lot of them are not going to be, thingamajigger or mystery tools, but I need to get it cleaned up and organized. So that one's just extra wrenches. I don't know what I'm going to do with it yet, but these other three, I think, at least for today, we'll just pick through one of them and we'll go through all of the tools in it. But first, we'll take a quick look at last week's mystery tools. And if you're new here, please take a minute. Oop, that's upside down. And here we go. Just take a real quick second here. Shop supervisor. This is Jethro. And he's not doing so good. He's 9.5, almost 9.5. And he's got some really bad, osteoarthritis or something like that in his rear end. Did a quick emergency run last Sunday. Anybody that's been watching the channel for any amount of time, all of my project videos, he's in basically every one of them. He's been attached to me by the hip for like the last 7+ years. I got him from my sister when he was just about 2 years old because she had a baby. And he was just too big around the house, and he just fell right into place here. So I don't know how much longer. Hopefully he'll make it through the summer. But man, that's going to be a rough day. Right, buddy? Right? Don't you stay. Oh, you didn't have to get up. You can come lay down if you want, though. All right, so for last episode's mystery tools, we'll start off with this one. This was actually the easier of the two. And this is just an old gutter downspout forming die or forming tool. You would use this and smash it into the edges to get that crinkled around corner. Old school, they don't use these anymore. It's probably close to 100 years old. Maybe not quite that old. Moving on, this one definitely is that old. Oh yeah, and there was several correct answers on that, so nice work on that. They're not super rare, but it's not generally used anymore. Now these ones, Raw Bacon had mentioned cobbler's tool or cobbler's pliers, and it's hard to see. There is some really faint writing in here. There's what appears to be a number 4 stamped in the corner over here, and then what's remaining of some sort of maker's mark. And I could not make it out at all. I tried and tried and tried. And I did find a couple pairs like this online, virtually identical, and I think they are. I'll put a couple photos up here and the names. I can't pronounce it, but it appears to be a late 1800s, early 1900s cobbler's tool or a shoe repair tool or pliers. I could not figure out why they have these little holes in them. A lot of the cobbler's pliers have these, or pincers as some people call them. This one at some point had 2 sets of nail pullers on each side of the handles. So that would have been used for pulling up tacks or small nails off of the heels of boots or shoes. These sides here and here would have been used as a tack hammer, and then you could grab onto tacks and peel them off because of the sharp edge here. It makes a nice little fulcrum, and you can see on the insides of these jaws there is a huge indent right in here from grabbing probably thousands and thousands of tacks over the years. Both jaws have that real big indent in the same spot, so it would have been used to grab right onto a tack and then pull it out. Most of the cobbler's pincers these days have more of a rounded edge here with a fulcrum or an anvil that you could use for hammering and for leverage. I'll throw a photo up of a pair of those. I did actually throw a question out on a couple different shoe repair forums, and we'll see if I hear back anything from that. But really nice job on that, Bacon. Appreciate the input from everybody. I really wish some of these things had more information about them, but being probably at least 100 years old, maybe like 120 or 130 years old, it's pretty cool. I found these a couple weeks ago at an auction, and I just thought it was really cool. I was actually bidding on, it was at an auction, I was bidding on this toolbox that had this in one of the drawers. It was just, you know, a smaller, like 3-drawer Craftsman box, but this was in it, and I really wanted this, but then some lady really wanted the box more than I wanted this, and I was able to get with her, and I bought these for just like $3. It's this. So I've shown this one before. This was actually one of the mystery tools one day. There's a spring-loaded hand vise, and it's used by, you know, jewelers, watchmakers, anybody working on intricate, small items where you just want to get good purchase on a part, and you can just cinch it down. This one is the same type of thing. The jaws are much, much nicer. This is aluminum, so it's going to be a lot softer to hold something. But this has got nice knurled jaws on the inside and a nice knurled handle. It's all steel. So now I've got a couple different sets here. I don't do a lot of small precision work, but man, they are nice. Really high quality. So anyway, all right, now we're moving on to one of the bins. Old school, well, maybe not even old school, like this one isn't even that old. It's a new-ish one, but these are valve clamps or valve spring clamps. Well, I don't need either of these, so both of these can go in the giveaway. These ones, these are just drill extensions. I think, you would just put a bit in there, you would chuck this end, put a bit in that end, it's got a set screw in there. I'll keep one of those and one can go in the giveaway pile. This guy here looks like a valve tool. I don't see any markings on it. Probably for an older flathead engine. A lot of times they would use these to catch a spring, but I'll double check on that one. We'll hold off on putting that one in a giveaway. This one's just a cool old T-bar snap-on. I don't know how old it is. I haven't looked up anything in this bin yet. I would guess probably from the 40s, 50s, 60s. Just judging or based on the looks of it and the style of it. We'll be hanging on to that guy. Got some cool old, well, let's get the rest of the big stuff out of the way. This one, I have no clue. Obviously it looks handmade. You can see this chunk here was welded onto it. Old, looks like a roofing hammer of some sort. Possibly, maybe a slate hammer. Homemade nail puller on the end. Really cool. This is going to be a wall hanger for me. Let's make this one of the thingamajigger Thursday items or mystery tools for next episode. So it's got what appears to be a small carbide tipped bit on the end that rotates. These pieces, it's dual rotating. So there's a hole here, or a bit here, and then another carbide bit right there. And it rotates. It's got some sort of, looks like clamp right here. I have an idea of what this is for, but I haven't looked it up and I've never used it. So spring loaded. So if you got any guesses on what that is, that will be one of next week's or next episode's mystery tools. Acro Screwmatic has special bit holder for slotted screws to prevent bit from slipping out of screw slot. Has powerful non-slip industrial type heavy duty clutch. No screwdriver under $10. $10 has this kind of clutch. So it looks like it's just a clutch assembly that kind of, where's the rest of it? Oh, maybe this is it. Oh, that, yeah. So it's kind of like one of those little bit holders that I've shown before with a little gray tip on it, the plastic tip. Similar to that, you would slide that into the end of here. I don't know why they got this one in there, probably just for a bigger one. And there's apparently a clutch, oh, you push down on it. And then it locks in, okay. So that photo here, so you push down here, it engages this clutch setup, but it's got angled edges, so if it catches hard, the clutch system will spin inside of there. That's cool. That can go in the giveaway. That might add to somebody's collection of cool old tools. This looks, to me, it looks like a spring compressor. 245, 3 to 7. Tell you what, that's a pretty goofy looking one. It's got a set screw here, geared, or not geared, but set teeth in there to hold it in place once you get it to where you want it. But that looks like a clamp to hold either a spring down or maybe on a ladder or a farm implement. I don't know. But it does say 2, 4, 5, 3 to 7. Then there's it looks like an H and an E combined right there in front of my finger. Hopefully the camera can focus on that. That'll be another mystery tool. All right, these, I've never actually used one of these, but I believe it's a gauge. You just screw this up. This is a woodworker's tool. It's actually got ruler markings on one side. So you woodworking guys, if you know exactly how to use this, please put it down in the comments. I could look it up, but I've never used one. Old screwdriver, nobody's even gonna want that, but I'll throw that in there too. I like these old wooden handle chisels. I wonder if this is an old Stanley. If I had to guess, it looks like either a Stanley or a Miller's Falls, but usually both of those guys have it stamped into the steel, and it's really not meant for hammering too hard on because it looks like 2 leather straps here with a wooden back on it, which is not very conducive for hard hammering, but that'll go in the giveaway. Some old parallel clamps. Here's another set, same thing. These guys, a pair of, what are these? They're obviously crimpers of some sort. I don't know what for specifically. Maybe coax, no, it's too small for coax. Maybe old foam cords or something. Giveaway. Now this is a cool old pair. I think I've even done a pair like these before. Burndy High Tool, Y150MW. All right, so that's the kind of connector it's supposed to be used with burr caps. I actually have some of these. I'll grab one and give a quick demo of it. So those are those connectors, and I actually don't have a lot of these plastic ones left, so I'm not gonna waste one on these things, but basically you just would use these to crimp down these connectors. I don't need those. They can go in that pile. Alrighty, so what do we got here? Some just snips, or shears rather, of some sort. Kleins. They were obviously supposed to have a spring in there, and I don't see that in the box or the bin. Those can go in the giveaway. Here's 2 that I have been meaning to add into the thingamajigger, so now we'll have 3 mystery tools. If you got any ideas on what those are for. Here's an old pair of snap ring pliers that somebody had ground down pretty good. Made in USA, durochromes. Nice. It's too bad there's not much left on there. They could probably be ground down a little bit. That can go in the giveaway. Another pair of snap ring pliers. These are Junkos though. I'll put these with the other crap. Here's a nice pair of slip jaw pliers or adjustable pliers. Channel locks, old school channel locks. Actual brand channel lock. Made in USA. Those are nice. Curved jaw and everything. Really nice shape. Those can go in the giveaway. Now this one here, I've done several pairs, or several like this before. One tough wrench, 6-inch US patent number. Doesn't say where it was made. Kind of slick. Great grip. Little push button action here. That can go in the giveaway. These guys, Magneset. Oh, joiner knife setting jig. I think I have the other parts for that somewhere else. I'll keep that. A couple more pairs of old school pliers here. These are nice. Her brand, made in USA, old school. Most people are gonna know what these are. These are hose clamp pliers. But I like how they got this spring-loaded ratcheting paw system that you can just flip out of the way. That's really slick. I'll be hanging on to those. I actually put them in the toolbox. Here's some pincers of some sort. I think these might actually be, you know what, I'm gonna do a little more research on those. We'll set those aside. That's a pretty cool old pair right there. This is another type of valve spring tool. This would have been on a older style, kind of similar to what this one, or not that one, this guy here. I believe on a lot of the older flatheads where you had to lift the spring from the, you don't compress the spring against the head, you push the spring away from the head, and that's what these would have been used for. That's really nice. I like that. I'm going to set that aside and take a closer look at it. These buggers here, some folks might know what this is. A lot of people probably won't. This is Armstrong Tools, made in the USA. These are actually really handy. These are called cannon plug pliers. They've got this plastic gripping in the middle around the jaws to grab onto big, let me grab one. Cannon plugs like this. I showed you guys this one a few weeks ago when I was trying to describe those pin removal tools. But that's what these are for. You use them to grab onto the outer rotating assembly of a cannon plug to get them loose. Sometimes they're just too tight to undo by hand. So I'll be hanging on to those buggers. Oh, let's see here. This looks like it's a KD brand. So just some more snap ring pliers. Industrial pliers. Nope. I'll throw them in just with the other crap. One of these buggers here, made in Taiwan. A lot of folks probably already know what this is. As a matter of fact, I just started seeing this what is it tool thing on Facebook Reels, and this one just popped up a week or two or a couple days ago, whatever it was. I started thumbing through it and he had one of these. This is just a nipple removal tool, you know, for a like steel pipe, black pipe. You get a chunk of that pipe stuck in there, you got nothing to grab onto inside of a threaded end, a female end, the threads break off, you can stick this down in there, and when you rotate it, this cam center here spins out and it locks on. So that's what that's for. And you know what? I very well may misspeak here, so if I do, please feel free to correct me. I'm sure I mean, that's the one thing you can count on the internet for, is correcting a mistake. So please feel free. It's not going to bother me one bit. A roto wrench. That's pretty slick. Can change sizes just by pulling out, pushing it, or pushing in and pulling back out. That can go in the giveaway. I'm never going to use that. Here's some old, you know what? He just had a pair of these too. And his didn't actually have the brand name on them. I figured that's what they were for. I've never used a pair. Well, actually I have, way back in the day. These are cam lock pliers. And cam locks, I'll throw a photo up here. I actually probably have one or two laying around, but there's just spring-loaded fasteners, usually on quick access panels of aircraft or, you know, race cars or something like that, where you need to pop a panel open to inspect something or refuel or whatnot. They got it almost looks like a wing nut on one side, but you just push in, counter rotate, you know, left to like 90 degrees or 180 degrees, and the two prongs on the inside are released. But this is for installing those cam locks. You would put one end in there, squeeze down the other, insert it into the hole, and then release it. So those I am definitely hanging on to. What do we have here? Made in USA. I am not sure what that is. We'll add that to the thingamajigger pile for next week. So it crimps down as you tighten it. Yep, we'll put that in with the thingamajigger, and I'll show them all at once before we let go here. Here's an old Stanley punch, or awl. Stanley 69007 USA. It's in really nice shape. I don't think that's ever been used. Doesn't have a single hammer mark on it. Put that in a giveaway. Here's a goofy looking one. What does that go to? I don't even know. If you got any guesses on what that is. So there's, looks like 5 items. These were just cool. Everybody knows what these are, some pruning shears. Never seen any quite like this. That can go in the giveaway, I don't need those. Here's some big old pincers, horseshoeing pincers I'm imagining. Yep, horseshoe nippers. I do have horses. I'm going to hang on to those just in case I get into horseshoeing, because at this rate our farrier just canceled on us and I might have to learn how to do it. Now what is this one? Got 2 set screws, circular end there, threaded rod. I don't know if this is just some homemade jobber. We'll throw that in with the thingamajigger tools. Got this fella right here. See if anybody has any guesses on it. Man, we're gonna have a big old pile of thingamajigger tools. Now this one, I actually did try to figure it out and I didn't find anything. So this is definitely a good thingamajigger tool. Nice pointed end on it. I mean, it looks like it should have a handle and, you know, it's obviously meant for hammering on. It's been hammered on a lot, but there's nothing attached to it, so I don't know. Let's see, another pair of itty bitty, I'll keep these ones. Snap ring pliers, that's pretty cool. This one, KM USA. Man, we're gonna have a huge pile of thingamajigger tools. Old school channel locks, that can go in there, I don't need those. I'll keep one pair. That's a nifty looking tool. I'm gonna put that one in for more review. This one here is just an old school wrench, obviously. Ox welds. I'd like to do a little more research on that one. Got a T-handle, proto T-handle, that can go in my toolbox. All right, so, and last is whatever the heck that is. I don't even know. Is that supposed to go in it? Yep, that went in it, okay. Oh no, that's just a tester. That's just a test light. Ha, that's funny. That can go in there too. That's an old school one. Okay, so that'll be our giveaway pile. I'll put out a video that has all of these laid out and you can go ahead and pick stuff out of that if you want. So just a little bit closer look at this one. Close look at it. It's got that extended spring-loaded cap. So there you go. Pause the screen, screenshot it, whatever. That's our load up here. I'm gonna freeze frame it so that I'm not shaking around with the camera, but that's your mystery tools for next episode, which will be 2 weeks from now. And next week I will get out the this pile here with numbers and labels for everything, and you guys can go ahead and do that with, you know, and I'll put the description and how exactly everything will work. All right, so that'll do it for this week. Appreciate everybody swinging by. If you got any suggestions, comments, concerns, you know the drill. Please feel free to throw something down there. I get back to just about everybody. If you're new to the channel, please take a minute to hit some buttons down below if you like this kind of stuff or not. Appreciate y'all stopping by and spending a few minutes with me today, and have a great weekend. We'll see you next week.